Welcome to the UU Fellowship of Ames. My name is Melissa Neeson, and I offer these opening words by Gwen Matthews. Today, we're thankful for you and what you bring to our fellowship. Your spirit, your talents, generosity, imagination, and dedication reaffirm our fellowship and create our beloved community. Our heartfelt thanks to you on this day and for all days to come. Each week we begin our service with the ringing of our chime 3 times. Once to wake the chime, once to open our minds, and once to open our hearts.
In the world of the driven, let us be drawn in. Let your love be a given, let us be drawn in. To imagine, to dream, to create, to redeem, for the sake of the living, let us be drawn in.
For our chalice lighting today, we have words by Reverend Suzelle Lynch. The flame we kindle in the chalice of faith holds blessings of warmth and light and life-giving energy. It shines forth a beacon to guide us all home. It lights up our longings to connect and to share. It possesses a power to shape the world where equity and compassion reign supreme. May this warmth and light and life-giving energy celebrate the blessings we have claimed and help us extend them in hands and hearts that offer these blessings to all. Now for our opening song, feel free if you would like to rise and join in.
Enter rejoicing, come in. Enter rejoicing, come in. Today will be our joyful day. Enter rejoicing, come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be our joyful day. Open your ears to the song. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be our joyful day. Open your hearts, everyone. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be our joyful day. Don't be afraid of some change. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be our joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be our joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Tempo and key changes. We're ready for it today. For our Time for All Ages, we want to observe today as Juneteenth Day, the day we celebrate the end of slavery in the United States, the freedom of Black Americans, and the countless contributions they've made to American culture. Our Time for All Ages is a video reading of the poem Free at Last, written by poet, playwright, and activist Sojourner Kincaid Roll. It is her voice we hear in this video production.
General Granger brought the news to Galveston. The war is over. President Lincoln has decreed, the Emancipation Proclamation declares, all who live in bondage here shall from now until be free. After 300 years of forced labor, descendants of Africa picked up their souls, all that they owned, leaving shackles where they fell on the ground, headed for the nearest resting place. Some went no further than the shack out back, oft only a shed, hard ground for a bed, hard labor, no pay, but the will to survive. Though they couldn't call it their own, they still declared, "This is my home." Some went to the nearest place of the Lord, to some hollow place in the brush, or to a clearing in a grove, where folk gathered neath a still-standing tree and sang, "Thank you, Jesus, for delivering me." Some ran as far as they could go, into the surface of the man on the laboring land, working for a pittance in a little plot of space, much like they did as a slave. Some made a beeline for the nearest saloon, singing a song, picking a tune, toasting the Union and Lady Luck, setting the flow, dancing the jig and the buck, patting themselves on their whip-scarred backs, carousing from night into day. Some went the way of the river, following the Rio Grande or swimming the upflowing Mississippi, hastening to get as far as they could, thrusting their futures into sanctuary and unknown friendless territory. Some kept running like a stone on a hill, never to grasp a firm place to rest. Some even went to the promised land. Wherever they went, alone or abreast, at the end of their journey they cried, "I've done my best." Every year in the Lone Star State and in towns from sea to sea, sons and daughters of the ones who were held celebrate the time when their forebears got the news. The war was over. All men were free. They will always remember. They will never forget Juneteenth, when their forebears could shout, "Free at last, hallelujah, I'm free."
We felt it important to acknowledge Juneteenth as part of our commitment to the eighth principle and as part of our celebration this morning. So you all know that we began our celebration just a few minutes ago with many, many heartfelt thank yous to Reverend Kent for his decade of ministry here. And now we want to continue in a similar vein by highlighting many of the activities in our coming together in community that this fellowship sustained through COVID challenges. Really, it's quite amazing. This morning's service is brought to you by the Generosity team in a role that I think we need to play more often, thanking you for your generous contributions of money, time, and skills, but also filling you in on what's happening, often behind the scenes, thanks to your support. So we've gone through our March happenings earlier today. The fellowship building was closed on March 20th, 2020, March 19th, 2020. And I mean, no exceptions. You all remember that? You lost your code to the door. No exceptions. 3 days later, our congregation attended a Sunday service in a brand new way on Zoom, and every Sunday since we've been able to do that. It didn't take long for us to gradually add back some of our other activities, also on Zoom, also from the comfort of our homes. And then it started to dawn on us that this could be a long haul physical separation, and we had no practice with that. That's when I personally feared our coming apart. This fellowship was based on, fellowship. Sitting together, eating together, hugs when we wanted them, sharing in small groups. That's who we were. Come to find out, who we were was able to take new forms. At a time when we needed each other, we figured out how to do it in new ways. At this point, I want to assure you that our fellowship is alive and well, active and engaged, and we want to share some of the evidence that this is so. Beginning with our board of directors. This is 8 people, 8 what I call step up to the plate kind of people, with a perfect balance of experienced UUFA members, including our president, Jamie Garganis, and several newer to our fellowship board members. They just completed an amazing search for an interim minister. This was a very competitive process, and they presented our congregation in a way that drew strong candidates, resulting in a contract with the Reverend A.J. Galazin, who we will welcome as our interim minister on August 1st. We'll now hear from board members Carrie Saul and Christopher Chase, each describing a board priority that they are spearheading.
Good morning and happy Juneteenth. I'm Carrie Saul and I serve on your fellowship board of directors. My pronouns are she, her. As you know, our fellowship adopted the 8th principle last fall, and the board is enthusiastically committed to integrating the 8th principle into all our board actions. In order to do so, I find it helpful to repeat and revisit the 8th principle text regularly. We covenant to affirm and promote journeying toward spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Dismantling racism and other oppressions. There's such gravity and enormity to that task at hand. I'm not sure about everyone else, but it's easy for me as an individual to feel daunted and overwhelmed by that end goal. Paralyzed even. That's why we're embarking on this journey together in this compassionate and supportive, beloved community. None of us needs to tackle this journey alone. We each bring different skills, strengths, and backgrounds to this expedition, and we each enter this labyrinthine path at unique entry points. Mistakes and missteps are inevitable, both individually and collectively. But in this beloved community, we can hold those mistakes and missteps with enough grace, support, and loving kindness to keep our spirits strong and renew our resolve. I'm grateful we're embarking on this 8th principle odyssey together.
Good morning and welcome. My name is Christopher Chase, and I serve on your fellowship board of directors, as well as in the small group ministry Persephone's Children. I want to thank you all for being here today, and I hope you're enjoying the service. I'm in Oklahoma on some family business this weekend, and I look forward to joining you again in person soon. I'm here today to share a brief update on a goal this year as a board member. In the past, surveys of the congregation have shown that there's a steady interest in adult or lifespan religious education. In conjunction with Sam Ossie and other members, I am working toward trying out a pilot lifespan program this fall. I'm looking at several options, including more traditional resources offered through the UU denomination, such as the Spirit of Life curriculum and the Tapestry of Faith program. But I also recognize that since we are at a point of reassessing who we are and what we want as a congregation, that other avenues may be more appropriate. For example, in adopting the 8th principle, part of our task is to decenter some of our traditional focus and ways of thinking that consciously or unconsciously place whiteness at the center of what we do. So other options may be also to explore African American and or Latinx religious cultures and experiences, to learn what those tapestries of faith, those parts of the spirit of life bring to human spiritual curriculum, and bring them a bit nearer to our own horizons. As I and others work toward this overall goal of a Lifespan RE pilot program, I want your input. Please feel free to contact myself or other board members as to what you would like to be a part of and what you are interested in learning and growing from. Thank you again for your time and attention. I look forward to seeing and talking with you again soon.
Oh, two representatives of a very strong board that we have moving ahead in some really interesting directions. A quick look now at membership development. Admittedly, membership work feels more difficult when we aren't together physically, but like other things, we've adapted. Online visitors join us from anywhere, as can members who have moved away, as can current members who live some distance from Ames, and I always forget that. You know, we have members in Ankeny and I see some of them here, Johnston, Jewel, Boone, and other nearby communities. Now that our building is open again, we're also experiencing a steady stream of Sunday visitors who wander in looking for a faith community, often intrigued, I think, by the look of our building. And for any of those who become interested in exploring membership here, we have a new thing. Online self-study materials created by our staff, so they are geared to our congregation as well as to the UU faith. I love these materials and this approach. A whole selection of videos, you do it yourself on your own time, and it allows anyone interested in exploring membership to sit right down and start their journey. So far, 12 individuals have joined the UFA through this system, and I see a few of them here this morning. If they would just raise their hand. Yeah, yes, Robin and Lee and Dennis. Where's Dennis? Dennis, you're out. Where is he? Oh, maybe he had to leave. Okay. And usually we have someone online. Usually Matt's online. Anyway, big progress, I think, in meeting the needs of our congregation in terms of welcoming members. I don't want to go any further without acknowledging our technology developments and our technology heroes. The updates in our system now, the updates in our system are now and forever will be central to our beloved community. Sam Ossie, with our congregational administrator, Bradley, at his side, has been a major force in making this happen. The this, meaning system design, purchasing, testing, installation, training, and execution in 3 different locations in our building. We can go into that further in the future, not today, but Sam is back there. Sam. And Bradley has been in the middle of it too, and he's in and out, so we'll thank him as well. So let's celebrate. Yes. Let's celebrate our technology developments with some special music, original lyrics to a familiar tune by Dave Slade.
Right, so check. Yeah, so this is an adaptation of I Will Survive. This is my first time back. Yesterday I came in for a rehearsal. I have not been in the fellowship since March of 2020. So many of you have been here for months now, so just imagine the first time you came back in. And for those of you listening who haven't yet come in, imagine this when you do choose to come back in person. So there's also a little bit of a defiant note for other challenges we may face here going forward as a society. We Have Survived by Gloria Gaynor. Lyrics by me. Some of them. Okay. At first we were afraid, we were petrified, kept thinking we could not persist other than side by side. But then we started thinking harder about how to right this wrong, and we grew strong. And we learned how to get along, and now we're back in our old place. We just walked in, and here we are in real and cyberspace. We can be both at the same time. Our world is bigger than before. No need to fear the future. Had we known we could be so much more. So come on in, walk in the door. Don't turn around now, 'cause we're all welcome here once more. We can all join in from home or at the UUFA site. We didn't crumble, we didn't lay down and die. Oh no, not us. We will survive. Oh, as long as we know how to love, we know we'll stay alive. We've got all our lives to live, and we have all our love to give. We will survive. We did survive. We have survived. And it took all the strength we had not to fall apart. Kept trying hard to mend the pieces of our broken hearts. And we spent oh so many nights just feeling sorry for ourselves. We used to cry, but now we hold our heads up high, 'cause we're still here, but like brand new. Oh, we're all done wondering what in the world we're gonna do. We know despair is always there, ready to occupy our minds, but we won't let it win. We'll always find a way to fight, so come on in, walk in the door. Don't turn around now, 'cause we're all welcome here once more. We can all join in from home or at the UUFA site. We didn't crumble, we didn't lay down and die. Oh no, not us. We will survive. Oh, as long as we know how to love, we know we'll stay alive. And we've got all our lives to live, and we have all our love to give. We will survive. We did survive. We have survived.
Oh, that is just to let you know the generosity team has fun too, just like the Sunday service. Oh. RE, that means religious education. I heard somebody ask that question the other day. We use it so flippantly. RE for Children is foundational to this congregation, and it has remained that way throughout the last 2 years, with our religious educators supporting parents and teachers in their instruction of K-12 students. Those of you who are lucky enough to have been here on May 22nd experienced a full-blown celebration of RE with real live kids and program highlights, including those from our Coming of Age program and our beloved Secret Friends. This morning, we can share just a tiny taste of our RE success with a video on this spring's RE in the Park.
May the circle be open but unbroken. May the peace of the goddess be ever in your heart. Mary meet and Mary part, and Mary meet again. May the circle be open but unbroken. May the peace of the God be ever in your heart. Mary meet and Mary part, and Mary meet again. but unbroken. May the peace of the deity be ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again. May the circle be open but unbroken. May the peace of the earth be ever in your heart. Merry meet and merry part, and merry meet again.
The bittersweet part of all of our conversation about RE is that our consulting religious educator, Janelle Carlson, will be completing her work with us at the end of this month. Janelle, as I mentioned earlier, miraculously returned to Iowa when we needed her most, and then graciously agreed to extend her contract through this June. It's hard to thank her enough. I don't know if she's still here.
No, she's gone.
Oh, darn it. Anyway, it's hard to thank her enough for all that she's brought. Organization, enthusiasm, energy, strength. Did you ever see her hauling all those tubs of stuff? And a driving commitment to our congregation. We owe a lot to Janelle, and let's all tell her when we see her again, or send her a message online. Recruiting is ongoing now for a new religious educator, and for the first time in many years, the position will be full-time. The RE committee recommended, and our board took the leap, and it is a leap, to a full-time educator. We're doing this in response to the momentum we see in our program and in anticipation that all of us will be enthusiastic in our financial support of this expansion.
Each week, we take a moment in our service to highlight our offertory split. For June, Prairie Rivers of Iowa, headquartered here in Ames, is the nonprofit we are supporting. This group really exemplifies the concept of interdependence as it works to support and engage communities conserving the natural and cultural resources of Iowa. Through the management of the Lincoln Highway Heritage Byway, they both protect natural resources of the byway and promote the economic development of the communities along it. Other projects include support for school and community gardens, help for local food producers, learning business skills to build successful farm-to-table businesses, support for outdoor learning environments, and urban forestry. You can visit their website to learn more. All gifts received for the June recipient will be matched in full by UUFA member Irv Kloss. As we start part 2 of the State of the UUFA, we note another fundamental commitment of our community is social justice. And here is Sam Wormley exploring this theme.
Our congregation and its members are certainly involved in many social action endeavors. My purpose is not to enumerate all of them, but to highlight 3 examples of contributions of generosity from you that benefit our congregation, our community, and our world. After 3 years working with the city, Janet McKee was instrumental in getting solar panels on the roof of our fellowship, helping us to be a bit greener in our usage of electricity. Through the efforts of Dave Fox and Larry Kierson, a major contribution from you, we purchased more than 100 solar packs in the SunSmart Community Solar Farm, making us carbon neutral in our electrical usage. This reduces our cost of owning and operating our building. We provide an example in the community, encouraging other churches and organizations to reduce their carbon footprints too. With major leadership from Allison Grundy, Irv Kloss, and contributions of time and effort by many of you, the Ames Climate Action Team came into being right here. Ames Climate Action Team's work has been a major positive influence on the city of Ames, Story County, and Iowa State University, in that they are talking about and actively working on implementations of climate action plans to reduce CO2 emissions and improve the quality of life in our communities. In just a few years, we've gone from what seemed like ignorance of our changing climate to addressing causes, planning changes, and sending the message that we can all contribute and better our lives, communities, and the world. Unitarianism was officially recognized for the first time in the history of the world in the Edict of Torda. And that proclamation was the beginning of our legacy to be a spiritual tradition that resists hatred, oppression, and the narrow view that there is only one way to be faithful, to be religious, and to be free. Our partner church is in Tortat Falva, Romania. We support each other in many ways: communications, inspiration, in-person trips, and financially. Those that have traveled to Tortat Falva can share much more. This spring, with millions of Ukraine war refugees pouring into Poland and Romania, our congregation, you, have given more than $10,000 to help our partner churches feeding and housing of many in their time of need. Thank you for your generosity.
I'm laughing at my picture that keeps coming up. It's really continuing the theme of generosity that Sam just mentioned. I want to talk for a minute about money, which is one of the roles of the generosity team. Come September, we'll be reminding you that it's time to make a pledge toward next year's operating budget. But here's the wonderful thing. Many of you have already taken care of it. Last fall, when we formally asked you to consider becoming a sustaining member, a sustaining giver, 77 giving units said, yes, I will make a pledge that is ongoing in the same way my membership is ongoing. Those are incredible commitments to the financial stability and potential of this fellowship. Like other churches and many nonprofits, much of our operating budget is dedicated to hiring staff. And if ever we needed proof of the value of that particular investment, these past 2 years have been it. This was a time like no other when we counted on our staff to be, you name it, nimble, committed, persistently creative, that's one of my favorites, and to help us remain a real-life community. Just one other money thing, and it has to do with our aging building that can be, as you know, money hungry on occasion. Last summer, we took care of one of those things that's been hanging over our heads, so to speak, the condition of our roof. We now have a completely new roof protecting our entire building. And this week we had the perfect test when we had that storm, no leaks. And it still feels like a miracle, a decade-long debate coming to fruition thanks to the leadership of those same two retired engineers that Sam just referred to with the solar panels, Dave Fox and Larry Kirsten. And thanks as well as the amazingly generous contributions from this congregation to cover a $325,000 project. Thanks to all of you. So now it's time to celebrate the building, and we have some new photos to help us do that. They were originally prepared for the interim recruitment package. Photos are taken by member Ben Sandness. Enjoy.
many thanks to all of those who help keep our building beautiful and functional. And thank you, Ben, for capturing this. I look forward to seeing more people in pictures like that this fall. I now invite you to rise in body and or spirit and join in singing along with Holly Near. The lyrics will be on the screen. This is Singing for Our Lives.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a peaceful, loving people. We are a peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. I just want to say, as you all travel back to your communities, to just take a moment right now to take the sound of this room into your heart, the look of your comrades, something that you learned, some emotion that you had. And when it gets discouraging and seems absolutely impossible, bring back this moment right here, where you know that there were thousands and thousands of people who have worked with you over a lifetime to try to find what it means to be a peaceful person, what it means to be a person who works for justice, what it means to be someone who holds the weight of the horror and at the same time holds the weight of the spectacular beauty of what goes on this planet. And it is our job as conscientious people to be able to hold both parts and move forward with grace and dignity and courage, and you are a great example of that. We are a peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We are a peaceful, loving people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. Thank you all so much.
Oh, Melissa, what's the matter?
Geez, Molly, I'm just kind of sad that nothing was going on in the fellowship for so long. I mean, the building was mostly empty for many months.
No, it's easy to feel disconnected. Even I felt disconnected. But you know, there was actually quite a bit going on in the fellowship, and lots of people were involved in these activities.
How could that be? We couldn't even meet in the building. I miss seeing the young kids on the rainbow carpet, hearing the bell ring to call the fellowship voices to practice, and of course, grabbing a cup of coffee and a treat and catching up with people. It was so easy to feel out of touch.
It was easy to feel out of touch. But we had lots going on. We had many activities connecting us while the building was closed. And many of those activities now continue. in person, online, or in our hybrid format.
You know, I guess that's true. I do know other things that were going on, and now that I think about it, I even participated in some.
You know, I think we should have the congregation help remind us of some of the activities that were taking place and are taking place right now. And we have a basket here with strips of paper, and each one has an activity written on it. And we need 15, that's a lot, brave volunteers to weave their way through the tables. And we're going to line up here, and if you could come forward and each take a slip of paper and read into the microphone what's on the paper. And we'll hear about some of what's been happening in fellowship life.
Did you know the exterior of the building didn't suffer while we were away? Many folks of all ages helped keep up the grounds, paths, and landscaping, and built a rain garden. And I think everybody knows Cheryl has done more than her share.
Did you know small discussion groups and study groups have continued to meet regularly? Among them, the Buddhist Study Group, Ames Area Freethinkers and Rationalists, Persephone's Children, and the Skadberg Science Circle.
Did you know not only did our congregation vote to accept the 8th principle, but members of the fellowship have also continued important discussions about diversity and inclusion, including a small group study of the book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, and Jubilee 3 anti-racism training.
Did you know having very few people around made for an ideal time to perform major work on the building, installing new technology throughout the building, and finally replacing the roof?
Did you know Secret Friends, the beloved RE tradition that pairs children with an adult secret friend, returned in a new format? Participants communicated through letters and cards sent via snail mail during the month of March, and they enjoyed an in-person reveal party in April.
Turns out this was an appropriate one for me. Did you know 13 youth and their adult mentors participated in the Coming of Age program this spring, ending with a fun day at the YMCA camp near Boone?
Did you know Cindy Schulten recently reconvened the Kitchen Angels to prepare the kitchen for the return of coffee hour? When this group of 8 to 9 women get together to clean out the cupboards and refrigerator, there's guaranteed to be conversation, laughter, and lunch.
Come on up, you people. There's still pieces of paper in that basket. Did you know the UU Women's Book Group is the longest running affinity group at the UUFA? Its longtime coordinator, Barbie Greenlaw, organizes meetings for the first Monday of the month from September to June. Did you know the pandemic didn't stop us from making music? The Fellowship Voices met virtually for quite a while, and both Women in the Round and the Recorder Consort are back to making music in person.
Did you know the Women of Wisdom group for women over 60, known as WOW, has supported members throughout the pandemic with weekly check-in supplement their monthly get-togethers?
Did you know RE students and parents attended the Youth Climate Strike on April the 19th at the state capitol?
Did you know family nights are taking place at the park this summer? There's no agenda or curriculum, no organized activity or planned meal, just outdoor fun for the kids and conversation for the adults.
Did you know Soul Matters small groups continued online when we couldn't meet in person and had nearly 40 members and friends participating? This year included a successful pilot program called Creativity Matters.
Did you know before the weather allowed for outdoor activities, our young people could meet up online for Minecraft Mondays?
And did you know the Romeos, that is, retired old men eating out, has new energy with more old guys than ever joining the group for breakfast at Hy-Vee every Wednesday. There are regularly 10 to 14 attending.
Thank you, everyone. We're quite certain that we've left out many groups and accomplishments, but hope that this energizes you to participate in fellowship life in some way, big or small, and to seek out an activity or a task that fits your interests or your skills and your schedule. We're all in this together.
It's wonderful we sustain the gift of breathing together. Milestones is a time we take each week to strengthen the resilience of our congregation by sharing significant moments of joy and concern. If you are here today in Fellowship Hall and have a milestone to share, I invite you to line up there next to the microphone. Please be sure to share your name when you share your milestone. After those joining here in person have had an opportunity, we'll flip our technology and invite those of you Zooming in today to share your milestones. I do want to begin by lighting one candle in honor of Juneteenth with this quote from Barack Obama. Juneteenth has never been a celebration of victory or an acceptance of the way things are. It's a celebration of progress. It's an affirmation that despite the most painful parts of our history, change is possible, and there is still so much work to do. I invite you to a time of milestones.
Well, Roger didn't want to come up, I guess, but I'd like to introduce again our daughter who grew up in this fellowship, and Angela, and she grew up in the fellowship, I guess, from the time you were, what?
8th grade to 12th.
8th grade to the 12th. And she married then Andy Barnett. Her name now is Angela Barnett. Andy Barnett is right over there by Roger, and they are visiting here, and we are so happy to have them. They are from Houston, so.
don't know what to do with my hands. I'm usually holding the candles at this point, but I'm Kent, your minister. And first, thank you for this morning. I'm deeply touched and appreciative of 10 years with you. I'll share more comments on that next week. But I do want to light a candle for Sarah and Larry this morning, that his surgery be successful. But also, just as importantly, Sarah is one of those people over the last 10 years. I can't think of one time that I ever asked her to do something that she said no. Just like Amy said yes this morning because Sarah couldn't be here. I can call her anytime, like even an hour before something, and said, would you do this? And she'll go, yes. So this candle is an inspiration that when Sarah invites you to do something to serve this fellowship, please become people who always say yes.
I'm Rose Gottlieb, and this is my first time back in the building since the pandemic. The pandemic kind of did a number on me, I think, as probably all of us in one way or another. And one of the things is I didn't drive outside of Ames for all that time, to the point where I was kind of losing my nerve. But this last couple of weeks ago, I drove myself to Minneapolis area. I'm so proud of myself. I went to see my daughter, and she and I drove up to Elkader, where my other daughter from Illinois met us, and we had a couple of days there. And then we drove on to Wisconsin and visited my granddaughter and her husband near La Crosse. And then I drove myself home, and I feel like I've got a new lease on life almost. I'm thinking about driving to Des Moines. This is after living 50 years in California and being used to the California freeways. And as soon as I moved back here, I thought, I get on the interstate and I thought, I need more lanes. So, I don't know. I have survived.
Now, my husband, Stan, who's sitting right here, will be having surgery on his knee this next week, and I'm having kittens about it. So just hold him in your thoughts and prayers if that's... Thank you.
Don't wear flip-flops if you're planning on speaking during milestones. Okay, my name is Susan Norris, and I want to share a beautiful personal message that was sent to me by my youngest son today. His father died when he was 12. I wanted to say Happy Father's Day to you, Mom. Thank you for stepping up and bringing in that extra role throughout my life, because I know it has been tough. You are my rock through everything, and I love you so much. You're truly amazing and an inspiration to me. Thanks for letting me share.
I think those of you joining us online will see a note in chat when the technology is switched and you can unmute and share your milestone.
Hello, this is Brenda Witherspoon, and I think if Dan has let me, Dan was going to let me share my screen. I know a lot of us were very happy to hear Loyosh during the earlier celebration. So nice to see by video. There you go. Hello. Loyosh sent me a picture that was taken this morning. They had a confirmation in Tordafalva, and the group gathered and took a picture to send his greetings to Kent and everyone. And if I am now, let's see, Dan said he would make a co-host so I could share it, but I'm not able to yet. I can hold it up on my phone here if I can't share my screen. We'll do it that way. We'll,
There you go.
there we go. Here we go. Okay, sorry that took so long, but there you go. There is a photo that was taken this morning of the gathering in the church for a confirmation, and Loyosh sent that along with a note of thank you, friends, thank you, Kent. So that is it. I am done.
I'm Jean Eels from Webster City. And I just wanted to light a candle for my brother Lloyd Krim, who has been diagnosed in the past year with a condition called multiple system atrophy, MSA. It's kind of a hybrid between ALS and Parkinson's. And I just wanted to reach out in case there's anybody else that has had experience with MSA. We're just working on spending as much time that I possibly can with him. And some of you may know him as the guy that led the Doolittle Prairie Walks for many, many, many years. That may be where you might have run into him. So anyway, just if there's anybody that has experience with that particular disease, if you want to reach out, I'd love to talk to you. He and his wife are living in Green Hills, so they're not too far away.
Okay. I will light one final candle for those milestones that have been left unsaid and those that we hold gently in our hearts. May we remember one another in the days and weeks ahead, and let our care for each other strengthen us as we strive to live more fully into our principles. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted to introduce some special music that will be shared by the women in the round. The writer and composer of the piece, Ali Halbert, wrote that this song, Loosen, is a prayer for a world with both tremendous loss and possibility. As things fall apart, who will we become? What will reach us in the places we became numb and resigned so we can feel our hearts and rise up again? This music is for finding where you are, to remind you that you are part of the thick of it and that you were made for this moment. Women in the round.
Loosen, loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the listen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you heal? Will you heal this pain?
Today we extinguish the chalice with these words from the Reverend Robin Tanner. Blessed are they who fall in the mud, who jump with gusto and rip the pants, who skin the elbows and bruise the ego, for they shall know the sweetness of risk. Blessed are they who refuse to listen to the naysayers, for their hearts will be houses of hope. Blessed are they who wildly, boldly abandon winning, for they shall know the path of justice. As the generosity team reminds us, gratitude helps support a spirit of generosity. And I want to thank all of the members of the generosity team for pulling together this lovely service today, especially to Sue for her vision, and Kitty, who selected all the readings and music. And I remind everyone that you can go online or leave something in a basket on your way out the door to support the UUFA and the important causes that we're connected to. Thank you again for joining us this morning. Happy Father's Day. Have a wonderful week.